I've had a bit of a look at your Facebook, and the Dad Joke Friday sort of springs off the screen. How did that come about, and what sort of response have you had from that with your friends, family, and everybody else?
Everyone loves it. I think actually the first person who did that I copied or got the idea from was Hamish McLaren, and like everyone, as anyone knows him, Richard Hammerbush, as he is on Facebook. Everyone knows him in Tassie because he's such an out there character. He did one, and I was like, that's hilarious. I've got to do one too. But then it grew from it because it's something, for me, it was a way to interact with my kids, and because I only get my kids like every second weekend, right? So something to do with them, and like so. Maybe they're Googling jokes or thinking up their own jokes, and the kids would go off and come back to me and say, hey, Dad, and they tell me some joke they'd heard at school or something, I think. And then, like, it's no secret that I do talk a lot. I like to, I've done a lot of work in my life where I've been in front of a group or I've been teaching, talking. Like, I was in rock bands a lot when I was younger. I was a marriage celebrant. I've been a teacher. I've done all these things, so I'm used to talking. And so I'd say the joke, and I'd think, okay, where's the story there? There's got to be a story. You've got to catch someone in with it. And like I've done the Dad Joke Friday thing, and then a year or two off, then come back to it, and a year or two off, and it's just something fun to do. I just like to do it,
Yeah, and that's good.
We need it in our life. Like everyone needs a laugh, and I figure, maybe I can make a few people laugh.
I think you certainly do that, mate. Yeah. No, it's good. Pottery, you say, you're very new at the art, but it's something that you enjoy.
Well, it's cool. It's a good story too, because I say, like, I used to be up in public service, and I left due to downsizing and other things. And there was a lady who worked there with me who I knew. I didn't know her that well, but I knew her, and she left it as well. And I went off ostensibly to chase my dream of martial arts, and she went off and chased the dream of opening a studio. And it's so cool. Like, she's like, I saw it online. It's called Glazed and Confused.
Yep.
Such a great name, right? And it's in Hobart, and it was like school holiday special, $25 for 2 hours of pottery or something. I'm like, well, I've got the kids for a week of the holidays, and they climbed the walls within a pretty short time. So let's go do this pottery thing. And the kids mucked around and had a turn, and they made like a little, I don't know, a duck or something out of terracotta. And I was watching, I said, you know what? That wheel thing, I can do that. And she's like, yeah, everyone says that. And so, but I sat down, and because see, Julie, the way she does this is you're in there for that time, you get her attention, So I basically got a private lesson in how to throw. It's called throwing on the wheel. And, and I did all this stuff, like, I don't know, I made, what do we got here? That was my first day. And it's like a little, I don't know, what is it, a little vase thing?
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
I didn't make anything that good again for weeks because I tried to make another one, and I end up with that. So I had to like modify it into like some kind of retarded gravy jug thing, because I thought I can do this, I'm perfect. And then I'm like, try this, and it, so it's like this, I'm on this bookcase here, right? You can look at it from the front, and it's just like dozens of cups. Like, I wanted to make some coffee cups, right? And I wanted to make a set that were the same size. And so I weighed out the clay with the scales, exactly 500 grams. And I end up with this one, and this one. And like, it's not obvious on the internet, right? But I'm sure everyone of them can see they are not, in fact, the same size.
A little bit like babushka dolls. Yeah,
that's great. Right. So, it's like, it's so much fun to do. I love it, and I'm hooked on it. But holy shit, like I got so much more to learn. Like so much to learn. Yeah. But yeah, if you've got your kids for the holidays and you're in Hobart, or you're bored, or you've got something else to do, once this bloody pandemic thing's all dealt with, Glazed and Confused, amazing stuff. It's really fun. Like,
it does sound like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Great.
Awesome. Now, the first time I came across you was at a fight night. You had a fighter in the cage or the ring or whatever it was. And I noticed that you're the kind of coach who rides every kick, every punch, and feels absolutely every little bit of emotion that your fighter does as well.
Yeah,
Would that be fair?
yeah, like there is fight nights are tiring, you know, like I really get worn out when I'm coaching. It's emotional, it's physically, mentally tiring. And I mean, I've had fight nights where I've coached one fighter for the whole show, you know. I've had other nights where I've had 6, and it's like, oh, so much going on. But I do, yeah, I feel it all, and I'm feeling every other kind of emotion you could feel, like frustration or excitement or happiness or whatever else. And plus, I don't know, my way of coaching is I try to speak to my fighters in the gym when they're training, when they're doing pressure rounds, when they're practicing, with phrases that I'll use when I'm in the corner. So it's the same phrase. Like, there's no point in me getting on fight night trying to yell to you what combination I want you to do if you've never done it before, or you've never heard me say it before.
Yeah.
You know, that's so, yeah, like I say, I try to kind of build this experience that continues into the cage or the ring, whatever. But yeah, it's pretty stressful though. I remember the last couple of shows I've done have been particularly stressful. I'm not sure why, really, just a lot of emotion there. And it's like I usually drive back to Hobart. If it's a Launceston show, I drive back to Hobart that night usually. You know, get home pretty late, but go to bed, and then I'm usually just a total wreck, you know, the next day. But that's what coffee's for, so that's all right.
Yes, and you obviously have a love for coffee, another one of your passions.
Yeah, it's an addiction. It's not a love, it's an addiction. But
yeah, awesome. And I noticed that you're very active with your refereeing, and you always support as many of the competitions and that around the state that you can, and support all the academies. That's a big part of your martial arts, the brotherhood and the togetherness of everything.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there isn't any reason not to. Like, the only time people would not be supportive, I guess, is if they're, you know, they've got their own reasons and their own way to live and whatnot. Like, it's sort of, I'm not going to tell anyone how to live, but, you know, like, positivity goes further than negativity. And, like, I don't know, I've ran personally probably a dozen jiu-jitsu comps. There's been a lot ran. I've been involved in plenty and helped with them. I've been involved in karate comps, taekwondo comps, judo comps, MMA shows, cage grappling, slap jitsu, all that sort of stuff. I've been involved in a lot of different things at one level or another, and I know there's a hell of a lot of work goes into it. Like, so the last jiu-jitsu comp that Adam, Bradlow and I ran was in Hobart, and it was a big day. You know, we had 3 mats running for the whole day. Well over 100 competitors. It goes all day, and it's hard. But what people don't see is that it goes for a month before that, writing draws, getting registrations in, planning. I was there all the night before setting up. You know, a bunch of my students as volunteers who you can't thank enough. And then afterwards, cleaning up and dealing with the stress and the heartache of the day. And on a competition day, often I might have a drink in the morning, have my wheat bix, jump on the mat and start refereeing. And when the competition's over, I get off the mat. And that's happened. I mean, it's not like, you know, woe is me. I mean, lots of people have done that, but you do that, it's hard, and I know how hard it is. So the last thing I want to do is come to you run a competition, I'm going to come to you and give you a headache. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, because it's just crazy. Like, it's just it doesn't help anyone. And actually, my coach Tiago, he said to me one time a good lesson, like, because he was a real push in Melbourne for all the jiu-jitsu gyms to be friends and like to train and cross-train and open up, rather than the old way of like, well, you're a Machado and I'm a Gracie, you know, we're never going to, well, yeah, that sort of head banging sort of mentality. And Tiago really pushed against that. And I was talking to him about it, and he said to me, if jiu-jitsu is healthy, my business is healthy. Like, it doesn't have to be my jiu-jitsu business. It's just jiu-jitsu as a concept. And if that's healthy and he runs it, you know, then he's healthy. And I'm like, that's why he's my coach, right? Because it's good philosophical coaching.
Yeah.
And I try to do the same thing here because that's what we need.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And I think Tassie Martial Arts is in a pretty good position at the moment, apart from the obvious lockdown and that, in that respect that, there's pretty good camaraderie all around the state, and it seems to be growing, which is fantastic.
And I just love that. And I made a point when I started the gym, because it all coincides with Facebook and stuff, because that's how you make. My first gym, I took have an ad in the Yellow Pages, as I'm sure you did, right? Like in the olden days, that's what we used to do to advertise. Now it's like websites and Facebook and Insta and all that. And one thing about Insta is you're always like, go to another post. What am I going to post about? I don't know. I don't know. You had no idea. And I saw someone got their black belt, and it was someone who did it was like a sports style karate. I think like point sparring. So not really even something that I'm really involved in that much. But they're a Tasmanian person who got a black belt from their work. I'm like, good on them. Like it's not my art, but I know what that means. That means sweat, discipline, strain, work, sacrifice. That's the same. That's the same thing. We've all put that in. So, mate, of course I'll congratulate them. Tassie's just one team, frankly.
We are a very small dot on the global scale, that's for sure. That's really good. So, you've also been doing some videos through this lockdown time. Are you enjoying those? Is it something that you've always done, or this is just a recent thing as well?
Let's not pretend that it's. Let's not pretend that I don't like being in front of cameras.
Excellent.
But no, I mean, I've done lots of videos over the years, but it's just as good a time as you need to start to sort of release those videos, because people need it, and the thing is, right, I could do a video where I could show how to do the armbar from guard, or I could show but I can't armbar from guard as good as Hodger Gracie can. Or I could say the video where I show you how to do, left uppercut, straight right hand, but John Wayne Parr does that, and he's way better than I am, So when it comes to teaching the moves, it's not my thing. But what these videos have been about for me has been the principles that drive jiu-jitsu. And so it's funny, in the gym, when I teach people, I'm always saying this rule or principle, and we call them Gerry's jiu-jitsu rules, Gerry's jiu-jitsu principles, Gerry's tenets of jiu-jitsu, whatever you want to call it. And they've, over the years, they've got more and more. And I said a while ago to a couple of my students, like Ryan, who's my first brown belt, and Brad, another brown belt, my brother Callum, who's purple, and Bronwyn, who's a blue belt, but a really studious, clever blue belt. And I said, all right, you lot, you know all these stupid rules I've got for jiu-jitsu? And they're like, yeah. And I said, write them all down, because I don't know what they are. I forget, And so between us all, we made this list. It was 27. And then I culled it back to about 25, and then I put a few more in. I said 28 now. And things like, they've all got different names and all got different reasons behind it. But for example, something I'd been saying for a while, but my student Ryan really refined it, is, so I call it the Ryan principle. In fighting, you try to get your opponent in front of you without being in front of your opponent. And that's the whole principle of fighting right in one sentence. And it's amazing because Ryan's a genius. And so that's the sort of thing I talk about. I talk about things like keep your friends close, keep your elbows closer. With the kids class, I talk about strong zone. Basically, put your arms up like this, put your hands together. In here is a strong zone, and that's where you're effective. Outside of that, over here, I can't fight over here, but I can fight here. So those sort of things. And so I thought, all those sort of things. I've made a video series as to highlight them. So I might teach an armbar, or I might teach uppercut, straight right, but it's not to teach those things. It's to teach the principle that drives those things or makes those things better. But I suppose the one that I'm working on as well, which I'm excited about, that if anything, it's not principle based. It's more closer to teaching technique. Is actually pad holding. Like, I don't care if you're talking Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing, karate. I've seen some good pad holders in my time, and I've seen some mediocre pad holders in my time. But one thing that's consistent across the board is, at the very least, people don't work on pad holding as much as they do hitting pads. And at the very worst, people don't work on it at all. And so what I see is like say, you and me are doing pads together, right? And we're doing a pad session. If I was doing pads the way I see a lot of people do it, then you'd get a good workout, no worries. And you'd get punches, practice punches, practice kicks, all that sort of stuff. But the combos that you throw, when you go to apply those in a fight, you'll have to do them differently. Like the angles will be different, the direction, targeting, it'll all be different. Even the reactions, the timing, the cues, everyththing's different. And so what I try to do is, and what I've worked on pretty hard for the last sort of 3 or 4 years, is putting together a way of approaching pad holding that recreates as close as possible what you have to do to fight. And so as an example, I've seen a heap of times, like I could name a half a dozen times, where someone's throwing, I don't care, dolio chuggy, Mawashigiri, round kick, depending on what martial art you're doing, right? They throw that kick and a coach will be looking at, oh, it's not quite right. You've got to do X, you've got to do this. It's the angle's wrong, this, that, and the other. And you're trying to correct the kicker again and again. And I look over when I see that. The first thing I do is look at the pad holder and go, no, you stand here, put the pads there. Okay, do it again. Oh, wow, the kick's perfect. It's amazing the effect that pad holding has on technique. So that's something that should be coming out over the next. I'm pretty stingy when I release videos. I'm not going to put them all out in one day. I put them out over time, but there's probably 8 or 10 videos, I think, I can't remember, but something like that in that series, and that's putting that out to the general public. Even though I think it could be helpful to any gym, and I'm not just keeping it for mine. I think it's mind you, a lot of people will be like, what does that guy know? Stuff him. We'll do it our own way. And that's okay too. And maybe they're better than me. And that's okay too, So, so that's exciting stuff for me. I really like that.
No, for sure. Well, I'd certainly like to have a look at it. So there's one person that would like to.
It'd be good fun. And as with all this stuff, I'll put these videos out. I'd love to have people's opinions. Like, for example, there's jiu-jitsu videos that are due to come out soon. I'll be releasing soon, where I mention the names of people who either showed me that concept or gave me the idea. And so, for example, there's one particular one, the techniques in it are ones that Chris Stone showed me. The actual principle name, I don't think he ever applied that principle to that technique, but that doesn't matter. The techniques are there. But I discussed it. I discussed Chris Stone in the video, and I said, this is how he showed me, this is what it was. My intention is that I can sort of tag him in that when I release it and so on, and hopefully get, conversation. And I could, there's half a dozen martial artists around Australia that I've mentioned by name in different videos because, credit where credit's due. I'm a big believer in that. No. If you do the work, then you should get mentioned,
No, absolutely. So, you're a thinker of things is sort of coming through, which is great, because there aren't enough people that think deeply enough about things, and you seem to do it with everything. A while back, we were discussing before we hit the record button, you started the TAS BJJ History Project. I think initially you were thinking book, and then you ended up developing a website.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I've got lots of passions in my life, and history is one of them. I enjoy, what do they say? Fiction has been spoiled by history, I think. There's so much entertaining things that happen in history that, you don't need fiction. So I really enjoyed reading history and the stories, and I'm a bit of a history type nerd, which I enjoy, but I enjoy the process. I also look around and see things, and you drive to Launceston from Hobart or vice versa, And if you know where to look off the road, you can see 3 or 4 different generations of the Midlands Highway going back 200 years. And there's some of them where it's just literally a flat bit of grass. It was before they even put rocks down, you know. No one knows about that, like, except for a very few people. History gets lost. So I get kind of scared of that in a way. Like, I don't want history to get lost. You know, like, the jiu-jitsu story in Tasmania is still new enough. There's first-hand memories and there's, you know, stories about it. We can record it. And so I wanted to do that. And what was happening at the time I started this, was going back a while, but I think 2016 was my goal, I think. So I started it like 2014, 2015, something like that, with the idea that the first jiu-jitsu experience in Tasmania was, I believe, the 27th of August. I think 27th, I could be wrong, 1996. And that was at Hobart PCYC. And Noel Peters, who was a Goju black belt, arranged for John Bill to come down. And, you know, so I was sort of, my hope was I'd get this work done to be released on the 20th anniversary. But life got in the way and the story kept going. That's the thing with history. Like, if you're doing current history, it keeps happening every day. It used to be one gym and like 12 people. And now there's like, how many jiu-jitsu gyms in Tasmania? There's got to be 20 something, surely.
At least, I think, yeah.
And like, how many people who wear a coloured belt? There's so many. And I don't know it all. I don't know all the history. And the other thing too is different gyms go their own ways for different reasons. And like, sometimes there's emotion involved and it's not everyone wants to talk about it. So it's sort of hard to do. So the project sort of, I think I made, like I said, like you said, I was thinking book and then I started thinking website. And then I was like, maybe a book in the future, but I'll do website now as a way to do it. And we'll see what happens with it. But I think I got as far as the first 2 or 3 chapters. And my intention wasn't to be like one chapter per year or anything, but I sort of thought, you know, some early stuff and then the next stuff and then coloured belts and then mixed martial arts and all the different influences that have changed through Tassie. And I've still, I've got a lot more notes and a lot more stuff written than what's sort of publicly available. But, you know, a lot of people out there will say, hey, I'm going to write a book. And they sit down and go, oh, that's right. This is like ridiculous work. Like, it's so hard. There's so much to do, you know, and you don't realise how bad a speller you are until you, or how you're not supposed to use that many commas. Or so yeah. Good fun.
Well, I've had a look at the website, and what is done very well. It seems to be very thorough, and I couldn't see any spelling mistakes, so kudos to you for that, mate. That's very good stuff.
Through that stuff. But I mean, what is it? It's BJJ, bjjhistoryproject.com, I think.
Yes. I will actually. I'll post I'll post the website up when I put the chat up onto Facebook, and people can check it out because it's definitely worth checking out.
I probably keep working on that, but you know what? Like, if anyone sees this, and if anyone's got any old photos or any old information, or I mean, I was hoping to be able to interview everyone, but there's a lot of people I haven't been able to get hold of from the early days, and you know, if anyone has anything around that they think would be of value or wants to touch base with me or talk to me about it, please do, because even if I don't do it this week, next week, or even next year, you know, if this pandemic keeps stretching on, you never know, I might do a bit.
Yeah, that's it.
Get something done.
Yes. Who knows what we'll be doing in 6 months if she's still going. But anyway, yeah. All right, well, I think we've pretty much covered everything there, Gerry. Is there anything in particular you'd like to tell anyone that's listening, or is you pretty happy with what we've covered there?
Look, I'm happy with everything we've talked about as far as it goes. I just wanted to say, you know, keep plugging away, everyone. Like, this will be over, and we have to get back in the gym. Remember, like, anyone who's in my boat as a coach, or you know, your boat, you know, anyone who's out there, this is a pretty hard time for us. But you know, we're part of being a martial artist is about handling pressure and handling difficulty. So we've already kind of equipped to handle it emotionally a bit, although it was harder than I thought. But just remember, once this starts up again, get back in the gym. You know, just because you have this time away don't let it stop you getting back into it, because the real benefits that come from martial arts training aren't, it's not like, the one class I did tonight, it's not just, I went and did one spin class, or I went and did one jiu-jitsu class. That's not the benefit. The benefit's what comes for coming and coming and coming year after year, training, that's the stuff that is worth it. So don't stop. Get back in there as soon as you can. And, support your mates, support your team, support your state, support everyone.
Yeah, that's a great message, mate, because training is about the multiple layers that you lay on top of each other over a long period of time.
That's it.
Yeah, so fantastic message. I really do appreciate your time today. Love the story. Really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better, and hopefully we can all get together once this is done and have a big mat session somewhere, mate. And,
I'm going to be very excited about your mat. I've seen pictures of it, and I'm very keen to come out for a roll and have a look.
Yeah, that most welcome anytime, of course, as is everybody in Tasmania. Thanks, mate. We'll finish the recording there, and it was awesome. We'll catch up soon, Gerry. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Brent.